Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 3, Episode 16. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Melody at her office, okay? The office of Melody S. Holt.
Everyone is meeting at my office today because Kimmy wanted to see if the comeback group really could move forward.
Now, I don't really know what that means, considering Melody has always said that she was done with the group. And every time the group would meet, she would say what she would say. Then they would decide to table it because I guess everybody didn't agree on the same thing. So it was just like, I don't really understand what all do we still have to talk about with the comeback group. At least Mel has always said that she's out. Okay, so anyway, she said that it was bittersweet, you know, this whole meeting, because this is where they kind of started. And, you know, the shit so much stuff had happened. It's a lot of water under the bridge. So Marcel gets there first. And he is telling Melody how he saw the big blow up between Wanda and Miss Vanessa over there. And he was just telling Melody how inappropriate it was. And she was just like,
I find it really funny that he thinks that it was inappropriate, but he didn't think that it was inappropriate last year when he was saying that my mother had a sex tape.
I still want to know what this sex tape business was with Vanessa and some young man, one of Marcel's brother or something. Child, Lord have mercy. Anyway, while they're sitting there talking, everybody starts to trickle in. First is Letitia. Letitia says that, you know,
I'm so glad that just me and Melody is like in a better place.
She's glad that they're in a better place. And then the rest of the group gets there, including Martell Holt, okay? And Martell says that it's weird being in the office. You know, this used to be their office, and now it's just Melody's. And, oh, when the divorce was final, she couldn't wait to slap up them pictures of her. I was like, why would she keep pictures of you guys around there? This is her business. Okay, don't be salty now. So anyway, they all sit down around the table, and Kimmy says that, you know, she wanted to meet because she feels like the comeback group, they need to tie this up one way or the other, okay? Whether or not they're going to do it or not, like there just has to be some sort of finality to it. And I was just like, well, like I said, Melody has always said that she pulled out of the group, okay? And when she said that again, when she reminded them, somebody was just like, oh, well, you can pull out and still have a baby, all right? And Kimmy just puts her head down like, okay, here we go. I guess we're getting started now, right? And of course, that always like, the group is so funny. They definitely be pushing buttons, triggering shit, and they know that they are. Somebody always has something slick to say. It's uncomfortable for both Melody and Martell, and then Melody says,
speaking of babies, where are your babies, Martell?
And he said, in your office?
And she was like, in my office.
Okay, so she jumps up, and he was just like, they all right, you ain't got to worry about them. And she was just like, you're not going to have me sitting up here, my children in the other room, I didn't even know it. I'm going to say hello to them, and then I am going to tell them don't tear up my office, okay? They're always up here, but I'm just saying. So she goes out the room, okay? So she goes in there and she sees the kids. They're happy to see her. I guess this was Martell's week or so that he was supposed to have the babies. So while she's in there with them, Kimmy goes on with the meeting. So she wants to know what Martell's views are on this whole thing. And he was just like, well, you know, everybody around here is working in the community. Everybody's moving forward. You know, everybody's doing something. So I think that this would be a good thing, you know, because everybody is moving forward in the community. And Martell still clearly wants to do the comeback group. And at this point, Martell needs the group more than the group needs Martell. So Marcel says, okay, well, that's all fine and good, but, you know, we cannot have the dysfunction that we had, you know, all of the time that we was trying to do something last 2 seasons. And so Melody comes back in. And so when she sits down, she was just like,
well, why don't we do a vote?
And then Marcel says, well, why don't we just see if there is a Pacific project? I said, Pacific? Y'all gonna get these words right. Let's see if we got a Pacific project where, you know, if it's something that we might be interested in, and then we'll go from there. Mel was just like,
you know, I think that's great, but unfortunately, I will not be able to be a part.
Oh, why did she say this? Everybody act like this is the first time that Mel has said it. This ain't even the 10th time that Mel has said it. She been done. So of course shit gets tense, and Martell was just like, Melody, why you acting like this? Why you can't, he don't understand why Melody ain't on board. And she was just like,
you know what, since we talking, let me tell you guys about the sneaky snake shit that's been going on.
They was like, oh Lord. Here we go, getting dragged into a Melody and Martell Holt argument, a production, of course. But you guys are the reason why it started, okay? You turned that shit around by bringing up the baby, pulling out and all that shit. Martell was just like, why you looking at me? Why you directing everything at me? And she was just like,
because I just turned around and you was the first person I saw, so I looked at you.
So anyway, she goes on to explain to them that she spoke with Chris, and Chris told her how they was sniggling and giggling about the fact that Melody was going to be helping with this build. She don't like that shit. And Marceau, you don't have to lie to kick it. And Marceau was just like, what are you talking about? Like, were you even there?
I don't have to be there. Somebody else told me.
And of course, Martell is just like, well, Melody, it don't make no sense. What's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about?
If you shut up, I'll tell you.
Mel, you're not going to be disrespecting me like that. And she was just like,
well, let me talk then.
So, of course, we launch into a full-blown Melody and Martell argument, okay? Evidently, they forgot that the kids are in the other room, or maybe they haven't forgotten, and this is just the way that Melody and Martell roll. This is why the kids are affected the way that they have been. So she says,
I am not interested in doing anything with Martell.
Martell swings back and says that she was neglecting the kids.
If I neglect the kids, you never said that before. You was just telling me last week that I could have full custody of the kids.
So Martell gets up and goes into the other room and gets the kids. And they're all just like, oh, what's going on, Daddy? Like, wow, that was really fast, Daddy. This whole thing went by quickly. The kids are like, we already leaving? I'm sure they could hear, even if they weren't full-blown yelling in the other room. Kids can always tell when voices change and the tone changes and all that. So they could have been hearing all of this and knowing that this shit was going left. Like, oh my God, Mom and Dad are starting up again. But he takes the kids. He's upset, obviously, walks out. Okay, so while he gets the kids in the car and he's leaving, Melody is still in the room with Marceau and the rest of the group. And she's telling Marceau, like,
I don't know what's wrong with Martell. I would love to be in a great place with Martell, but obviously Martell is not there.
And Marceau says, yeah, because you're winning, okay? You're fine. But if you wasn't fine and if you wasn't winning, then you would probably be reacting a different way as well. And she couldn't do nothing but laugh to herself because she knew that shit was true. So while they're sitting there talking, the phone rings and Martell is on the phone and he's telling her how their oldest girl, the oldest one, she is crying. And, Mel's like, well, what's wrong with her? And he's like, I don't know. She just won't stop crying. She was like, okay, well, bring her back up here. And so she goes out there and she gets the little girl out the car and she's just like, what's the matter? Okay. And the little girl's just crying. The rest of the group goes out there to talk to Martell and they just are basically telling them like, listen, this is the shit that we've been trying to tell you over and over and over again. Like, you guys have got to learn how to co-parent, okay? This is just totally not working. You guys always arguing. Marceau tells them, like, in the future, your kids are you're going to have to answer to your kids, okay? They're going to be knowing about all of this that's going on. I said, listen to the pot calling the kettle black, honey. Maybe you could listen to your own advice. The way you talk about your children on this show, you might have to have a conversation too, Marceau, but that's neither here nor there. And Martell knows, okay, maybe he shouldn't have did what he did. All right. And so he's just like, it's just hard for me because if she says something, I got to respond. But they telling him like, you need to learn how to control yourself. And Martell is not happy with himself. As a matter of fact, in the confessional, he's like, it wasn't his best day, you guys. He's looking contemplative and, he's looking a little regretful. And he says that, we're going to have to learn how to approach each other with more love and more respect. And, him and Melody gonna have to work some shit out. Once Melody gets the little girl calmed down, Martell, he takes her on home and we get through that day. But once again, the comeback group, nothing was resolved there as usual. I don't even know why this damn group is a group. Next scene, we see Marceau and Maurice, the high achievers. So they go play tennis. They say that they don't know how to play tennis, but I guess rich people play tennis. Rich people play golf. You know, rich people play all these type of sports. So they've got to pick up those sports as well because they're high achievers and whatnot. So they get out on the field. I'm sorry, on the court. And don't nobody know how to fucking play. Okay, so really they just knocking the ball around, ain't really doing too much of nothing. I mean, whatever. Afterwards, though, they talk about the comeback group, what a disaster the meeting was. Marceau, you know, now Marceau kills me because he be having so much to say when he's not in front. He always got to be the logical one when he's with the group. But when it's just him and Maurice, he said, "Yeah, ain't no way I put my name on that shit between, you know, Melody and Martell and the way that they fight. I would be crazy if I..." Oh, but you ain't saying all that. You know, you keep on flirting around the issue. You keep on saying, you know, if we can do this and all this. But why don't you just call a spade a spade? If you said you can't do it, then nigga, you can't do it. Okay? Quit trying to be the logical one. Quit trying to be the one that's always solving something. The one that's so wise, you know. I'm just like, okay, Marceau, whatever. Okay, you already knew you wasn't doing anything with them. Why are you even going through all of this? All this damn pussyfooting around that Marceau been doing. Whatever. Anyways, Maurice tells him how he went to go see Dr. Frantic, and y'all, Dr. Frantic dropped some shit on him that blew his world, blew his mind. He couldn't believe it. And, you know, Marceau was just like, I mean, if that's what you think, I mean, you went to Dr. Frantic, you know, he ain't really for me. Because Marceau feels like, you know, he's more for the women. But Maurice tells him how Dr. Frantic told him that he has 2 wives, you know, it's his work and his real wife, Kimmy. And Marceau was like, I wouldn't go that far, you know. And he says, yeah, but, you know, he's just explained to me how I need to spend more time with my boo. And, you know, I need to try to figure out, you know, my work schedule and manage my work time and blah, 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 blah. And Marceau was just like, I mean, that might be your problem, but my problem is that I created the stress. Like, I knew that me taking on whatever jobs that he was taking on, that in the future it was going to be tough, okay? And so that was the reason why he was depressed, and why that was the reason why he was so stressed, because it was a lot of fucking work. But he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So now he knows that all of his work and everything that came along with it was not for nothing, okay? At least we know that it's getting better. And so then now he doesn't really feel all that stressed and that depressed anymore, because he can see it. He can see the light. Now, wasn't we just in Vegas talking about something else? I mean, it couldn't have been that much sooner. I mean, it couldn't have been that much, you know, long ago that he actually had that conversation with Martell and Maurice. But I mean, if he says it, so he say he fine now. Okay, he just gonna push through. And he ain't gonna worry about none of that other stuff. And so Maurice says, well, I mean, I guess so. I guess he feels like he's past it. But Maurice still feels like, you know, he got a lot out of that. Okay, well, fine. All right, do right by your girl, Kimmy. Now, speaking of Kimmy has Melody and Letitia over to the Scott Emporium. I guess that's her office. And she said that it's been a long time since the girls have hung out, you know, when they used to just have wine and shoot the shits and have a good time. So much stuff has happened. They don't get together like this anymore, but they're going to try it again today. So, of course, Letitia comes down there. Hey, girl, how you doing? You know, then Melody gets there. Hey, and it's so funny because it's like, do you guys even really like each other? It's like, oh, we got to sit down and have this conversation, and the whole thing just feels pretty pretentious, but we got to show the film, right? So anyway, when they sit down, pour the wine, everything, and then they talk about the comeback group meeting and how Mel and Martell, you know, was a showdown as usual. And Mel says, well, see, what you guys don't understand is that Martell is good at taking jabs, and I let it go, but eventually I respond. But I don't start nothing. And they was like, right. We understand that. It's just that it gets so bad. Like, what do you guys need us to do to help you get through when you guys get in these states? And she was just like, well, you know, that's a good question. You know what, don't invite me and Martell to the same things no more. And they were like, don't invite it? You guys can't even be in the same room? Can't even be in the same room. Not at this point. Because Martell, for whatever reason, has some growing up to do. They just can't seem to get past it. She says that she has a good time. I mean, she has a easy time of being around Martell, but you know, he just continues to poke at her, and she's gonna have to say something eventually, and then that's when they get into a full-blown fight. But Melody is done talking about Martell.
What's going on with you two? I know you guys was having a little issue about that text message.
And yeah, Letitia was just like, yeah, she was just basically wanting to be mad about something, and Kimmy was just like, that is not it. You know, you usually would call me.
I didn't even think about calling you. I was just putting it in the text message,
and Kimmy was just like, no, you usually call, you know. And then Kimmy felt a way about the fact that she said that Melody and Destiny was the only one responded, but she could pull up her messages right now, her email messages, and let you know that she had already contributed to the whatever the cause was. And she was like, and me and Maurice always contribute to whatever it is that you guys are asking. And you know, Letitia was just like, well, I mean, we always support y'all things too. And she was like, but it doesn't compare. We still give a lot. And you know, I guess Kimmy was feeling like Letitia was making a big deal out of this. And evidently there was something else. There was some sort of mix up. I guess Maurice was supposed to write a check. He didn't. And I guess Letitia was looking for the check or didn't know about the check. And Kimmy thought the check was going, whatever the situation is. Kimmy was upset really more so about how Letitia was treating her. And Letitia was just like, she just trying to be petty. But she was like, no, I wasn't trying to be petty until you said that, you know, Destiny and Melody was the only ones responded when we did as well. Even though she didn't know that there was a mix-up with Maurice, they still got the shit to her, okay? Even if it wasn't right then, it still happened. So, yeah, Kimmy is late for Letitia. Letitia's just sort of like,
well, I didn't know that we was keeping tabs. Like, I did her baby shower, her bridal shower, and her, you know.
Ooh, that Letitia, she gets on my nerves, you guys. I'm just gonna tell y'all like it is. So finally, Letitia just says very dismissively, well, I just want to move forward. Like, you know, regardless of whatever happened, I just want to move forward. I don't want to fight anymore. It doesn't sound anything like an apology. I mean, I guess we wasn't really asking for apologies, but she doesn't sound remorseful or like anything. She just sort of like, I'm done with this conversation. Okay. And then here go Melly.
You guys made up. Let's have a group hug.
They was like, fuck this group hug. Okay. None of that felt genuine, like I said. But when they sat down, you know, and she was like, she gonna have some wine now and she gonna have some wine later. And they was just like, oh, is that why you got on this cute little short dress? And Melody was just like, honey, mind your business. Don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You know, she says that,
I know there's somebody out there that can treat me way better than Martell Holt.
Okay. And so she just prefers to, you know, what's my favorite? Shout out to Sugar Free. If you stay ready, you ain't ever got to get ready. Okay. So yeah, this little outfit is just in case something goes down the rest of the evening. And then lastly, you guys, we see Martell. So Martell is meeting with his business partner. I don't remember what the business partner's name is, but the business partner seems very uncomfortable being on camera. He don't really know what to do with himself, but he's just like, hey, Martell, you know, what's going on? And you know, Martell, oh, you know, I can't call it. What's going on, Martell? How's that business license, that builder's license studying going on? And Martell was just like, you know, one day I got inspired, you know, I had the kids. And, you know, I just got my books out and I was reading. He was just like, well, what software are you using? He was just like, oh, no, not no software. I'm just using regular books. Okay. Martell ain't using no damn books. You know good damn well he ain't studying for this test. Okay, because as far as Martell is concerned, he don't need to have a builder's license. That's what he got you for. You the business partner. And the business partner was just like, yeah, I know, I understand that, but I still want you to have it as well. Okay, well, that is not a priority for Martell any longer. Okay, so don't even worry your nerves about it. Martell got better things to do. So while they're talking, his phone rings and it's Mel.
Hey, Martell, is there any way that I can come and talk to you? I need to talk to you ASAP.
And he was just like, well, what's it about?
And she was just like, is there any way I can come to wherever you are? I need to speak with you.
And he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So he comes back over and he kind of laughing, and he was just like, oh yeah, she's about to come. And the guy was just like, oh, you know, do I need to leave? And he was just like, yeah, I don't know about that. He was like, well, you know, the neighbors don't need to know your name. I was just like, the neighbors probably know Martell's name. But boom. Anyway, he was just like, so how is she gonna be coming? And you know, he was just like, well, if I know Melody, it'll probably be in a limousine, you know, back in the back. And he was just like, no, really? He's like, no, don't she have like a Range Rover? And he was just like, yeah. And he's like, well, here come the Range Rover now. Okay. So she pulls up and he was just like, let me run over here before she come running over here. Okay, to us. So he goes over to her and he was just like, hey, Mel, what's happening?
Hey, Martell, thank you for meeting with me, you know, and just taking time out of your schedule. I need to talk to you about what happened at Bridge Tree. I want us to have a conversation about boundaries and respect and what that looks like when it comes to us.
Now, surprisingly, the cameras weren't there at Bridge Tree, which turns out to be, I guess, Melody and Martell's favorite restaurant that they used to go to together. Evidently, Martell and Melody had a conversation earlier in the day, and she must have told him that she was going on a date, and that's where she was going. Okay? So, apparently, Martell showed up at the location and acted a fool. And so Melody is trying to explain to him,
Martell, it don't make no sense that you would leave. Weren't you at a business meeting? You left your business meeting to come over there and check on your ex-wife. You probably cut your business meeting short just so that you can come over there. If you said that you are trying to get in better conditions with the business people, why would you?
Okay, Melody don't understand why you doing all of this. Okay, but Martell is a man. Okay, Martell is a jealous man. Martell is a man whose wife left him and he did not want his wife to leave him. Martell is a man that will never admit that he fucked up his marriage by having an outside baby with this woman. And not only that, but did it out publicly and all of the world for all the world to see. So that's why Martell acted a fool.
Martell, that is childish. That's childish.
He was like, so what? He don't care. Martell is so fucking stupid. He's just stupid, you guys. He said, it don't matter. And she said, it does matter. He was like, well, Melody, you still be doing a lot on social media. And she was just like,
Martell, what have I done on social media recently?
Basically, Martell, you know you still want this. That's why that was giving you problems. He was just like, I never said that I want you to be my wife again. I never said that. And if I did say that, it was because of the kids. I was like, Martell, do you not remember that we all watched the show? He really be believing his own lies, y'all. Melody was like,
okay, Martell Holt. Okay, Martell Holt.
So he pulled out his phone and he wanted to explain this. And she was just like, see, nigga, this is what I'm talking about. I'm sitting here trying to talk to you about how we can move forward. And you videotaping me at the damn restaurant. Okay? You are just childish. This don't make no damn sense.
But Martell, last time I checked, I'm single. What you need to be worrying about is how you was doing what you was doing when you was married all over these Huntsville streets.
And you was cheating too.
And she says, no, I was not. Prove it.
And honey, he ain't got no proof because Martell just be talking. He know good damn well Melody was not cheating, at least not when the shit was good, when the rumors first started circulating. So she was just like,
what are you proving pulling out this video? Pulling out this video for what?
He said, so I can do whatever it is that I want to do.
But for what? I'm not your woman anymore. So what you being disrespectful for?
I said, Melody, because he's Martell Holt. Okay, perhaps you've never met him before. Your ex-husband? Child, that Martell is special. All right. And he didn't really have any reason to explain the way that he had been behaving other than the fact that he's jealous and he's just made a mistake and he just don't know what to do with himself and his life is fucked up and, all of that. And yes, deep down inside, and not even so deep down inside, pretty much on the surface, he would still love to still be with Melody. I'm sorry. He would. So. But child, that damn Martell, I guess he just acted a fool this whole episode. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. It done got hot because Mr. put the garage door down. Did you guys notice that it got brighter and the sun is reflecting and it's shining up in here and niggas hot? So let me get off of here. I'm about to go to one of the rock stars. Well, she's not really she is definitely a subscriber, but she has her own YouTube presence. You guys know Shanna J. Okay, Shanna J. Her and her husband Eric, they would do like vlogs, really good vlogs, just of their life and everything. Anyway, she became the plant lady, and now she's opened a plant store out here in Atlanta. I think it's in Smyrna. I'm not exactly sure where, but she had a grand opening yesterday, and so I am going to go down there and just peek in and, you know, show my support. So yeah, I think the name of the place is A Pot to Plant In. And I think that's her IG name and her YouTube channel name too, if you guys are into into plants. Not my thing, but, you know, still want to be supportive. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.